Hey guys, welcome back to Valareso Capital. On today's video, we're gonna go through the weekly watch list for the week of November 28th. Remember that on this week we have the start of December, so it's gonna be the end of November and the start of December, which tends to signal that we're gonna see a lot of volatility, given that most of the times in the end of the month we tend to see some selling, and at the beginning of the month we tend to see some buying. That's not always the case, but we tend to see that pattern over and over again throughout many months of the year. And also remember that on this week, on Wednesday, we have some commentary from the Fed. Powell is going to be speaking somewhere around 1:30 p.m. on Wednesday, so do have that in mind. If you have some long positions or if you have some short positions, remember that any commentary coming from Powell can cause a lot of volatility in the market, either way, depending on what he is speaking about. Also, guys, remember that this video is for informational purposes only, and that is just based on my personal opinion and is not financial advice. And also, guys, thank you so much for being back in the channel. Remember to like and subscribe, and also, if you find this information valuable, remember to share it with your friends, and also follow me in my Twitter account at Valareso Capital. So first, let's start here. In this video, I'm just gonna share a couple of names that I'm seeing for the market. We're mostly gonna go through the indexes. I also have an individual name that I wanted to share with you. So we're gonna take a look at some of the individual names. I have somewhere around 3 individual names, and then mostly we're gonna go through the SPY, IWM, and QQQ, which I think have really interesting patterns, which you can trade with the leverage 3x ETFs. So that way you can get some really nice trades out of these setups. So let's start here with the SPY. Let's make this video a really efficient one and quick one as well. So first, let's start here with the SPY. So we were talking about the SPY during the past couple of weeks, and something really important to mention here in the SPY is the pullback that we had today. If you have been following me for a while, you know that I love to use this Fibonacci retracement level, which is the 0618 retracement level. And basically this retracement level that I have right here is basically measured from this low on November 17, going all the way to November 23rd. And today we actually came right into that level right there. Also, it's really important to mention that we also have the value area low. If you're using the volume profile, I actually made a calculation of the volume profile from this information right here, coming from this swing here all the way to this swing up here, and you can see that we have the point of control actually above the price right now. However, we do have the value area low for that volume calculation, also around the 0618 level. So what I'm looking about is that I'm expecting this level actually to serve as a level of support. Why? First of all, we're looking at that Fibonacci retracement, then we're looking at that volume area low level as well, and I'm also looking at the trend oscillator, which is coming right into that EMA and also right at that 55.31 level. So I'm looking that to serve as support. What is actually pretty interesting is that the momentum in the TTM squeeze continues to rise, even though we have basically a pretty strong pullback today, somewhere around 1.60%. I don't see any reason to be bearish, right? We continue to trade above a 21 exponential moving average, and if we continue to trade above this 21 exponential moving average, I don't see any reason to be bearish or to want to short this market. I'm focusing mostly on buying any pullbacks that the market tends to offer. Remember that we have a pretty strong rally from this level of 390 all the way to 400. What we're seeing is actually pretty constructive. You can see that we actually make a higher high in price, and we actually also made a higher high in momentum. That's pretty constructive. If we happen to hold this level right here, I'm expecting the SPY to continue to move to the target that we have been talking about, which is a close of this gap all the way to 410.97. I think that path continues to be in play, and I actually see this pullback as a pretty nice opportunity to get into the market. I think that the last place that I'm gonna be looking for support is gonna be this 390.39 level. I think that if we happen to drop below that level, then the bullish thesis has to change completely. However, I do think that this is a really nice place to start some bullish positions if you don't have any, or to add to your bullish positions, and that way we can keep the target, and you can see that the risk to reward is actually pretty good if you happen to start your position right here. So this one is looking pretty nice. If anything, this one you can use the leverage ETF, which is the UPRO. This is a 3x leverage ETF for the SPY. So this one is looking pretty nice. Now let's take a look at the QQQs. And the QQQs are also starting to look pretty constructive. You can see right here, it's basically kind of the same thesis that we were talking about. You can see that we continue to hold this 282.07 level. You can see that we have tested that level before. We came back to that level today. We are actually testing that level. But what is really interesting is that the trend oscillator is also holding support right here at 51.24, and the momentum in the squeeze continues to expand to the upside. So I don't see anything wrong with this chart, at least for now. I think that if we continue to hold this level right here, which is somewhere around 280, I think this is a great level to start some bullish position. That way you can manage your risk pretty tightly, and then the targets are going to remain first at this 1272 extension, and then at this 1618 extension up above. So this one is looking actually pretty great. I do think that the pullback that we saw today is also an opportunity to get into some bullish positions. And then finally, let's go into the IWM before going into any individual names. What I'm seeing here in the IWM is actually pretty interesting, because we are coming back into one of my favorite levels, which is the 21 exponential moving average. You can see that actually what is happening here is really important, because we came right here near that. You can see that we came here near that 200 daily moving average. We had a pretty strong pullback. Then we tested that 200 daily once again. We had another pullback, but this pullback was way more shallow, meaning that it was smaller. And now we tested back the 200 daily moving average again, and now the pullback continues to be way smaller. So I think that this is a great place to manage your risk. You can use this 200 hourly as your possible place to place your stop, and then I'm gonna be looking for my first target all the way to that 1272 Fibonacci extension to the upside. You can see that we have a squeeze that continues to be active, and you can see that we continue to have a bullish trend oscillator because we're trading above the 50 line, and basically we're coming right into support at that 53.33 level. So this one is also looking pretty bullish. The 3x leverage ETF for this one is the TNA, so that way you can play this move with a leverage ETF. And for the QQQs that I forgot to mention, the leverage ETF for the Qs is actually the TQQQ. So if you want to keep things pretty simple, I think that you just have to focus on these three setups. However, if you want to take a look at something else, I was looking at Shopify. It actually had a pretty strong move to the upside today, but I was looking at this one because it was looking pretty interesting. And look how beautiful the trend oscillator was working here. You can see that and this is actually something really amazing. So let me just show you this pretty quickly. You can see that the trend oscillator was trading below that 50 line, right? And you can see that we had a pretty strong move to the downside in Shopify. However, as soon as the trend oscillator went above it, you can see that we started to trade above that 50 midline in the trend oscillator, and you can see right here that we're coming right into support at that trend oscillator. Also, Shopify was holding that 200 hourly, and we had a pretty amazing move to the upside. I was looking for Shopify again, basically looking to possibly tell you guys about this position, but we had actually a pretty strong move in Shopify. Is actually up 3.37%. However, I do think that Shopify has way more upside. Still, if you want to grab some position here, I think that you have to be really careful with where you place your stop though. I think that if you happen to to start some positions right here in Shopify. I think that if you set your stop somewhere below this 21 exponential, I think that's going to be a great place to start managing a position. If we happen to pull back into that 50 hourly, that will also be another opportunity to get in. And of course, the first target is going to be that decline in 200. And if we happen to get above it, which I think we probably will do, then the next target is going to be all the way to 45. And then the next name that I want to show you was EMPH. And EMPH was also looking pretty constructive. This one actually held pretty nicely today. You can see that for this one right here, we have an active squeeze. We have a trend oscillator which is above the 50 line and which is also above the EMA. And you can see that if you follow the patterns in the market, you can see that we kind of have a cup and a handle that is forming actually pretty constructive here in EMPH. And you can see that EMPH today was holding that 50 hourly moving average right here in the charts. If we happen to see some follow through on the indexes, I think that today was the opportunity to probably jump into EMPH. And then the first target is of course going to be that first standard deviation right here into 340, and then the second standard deviation going all the way to 360. So those are going to be the levels that I'm watching on EMPH. If we happen to see more of a pullback, probably a position somewhere around this 297 could also be an option. And one thing that I want to show you guys before we leave is this chart right here in the VIX. This is one of the main reasons that I continue to be pretty bullish, is that the VIX continues to trend to the downside, right? You can see that this level was support, which is 22.37, and even though the VIX jumped 8.34% today, which is a significant move in the VIX, you can see that the VIX was actually gapping all the way into resistance. So as long as this level of resistance continues to hold, I think that today was an opportunity to jump into some names, add some discounts if we continue to see more of a rally in the markets. And you can see also that the VIX was coming into a level of resistance in the trend oscillator. So let me see. Yeah, those are the names that I wanted to show you. Once again, thank you so much guys for watching the video. Remember once again to like and subscribe, and to also share this information with your friends and fellow traders so that they can use this information as an asset for their trading. I do think that we're going to see more upside in the markets, and I'm really sure that this video is going to be helpful so that you can build a powerful watch list for this week. Thank you once again guys, and I will see you on future videos. Take care. Bye bye.